All right, so we're going to look at how to create a frequency table in this DeltaMath assignment here. So the problem says complete the frequency table for the following set of data. You may optionally click a number to shade it out. So we have our intervals here. It says click the tally box to count up, the minus counts down. So if I'm going through my data points here, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out where 9 was. It's a nice little feature here. When I click on the number, it shades out. So 9 is in the interval 5 to 9, so I'm just going to click in that box there. 16, I'm going to go down. That is in 15 to 19. 0 is 0 to 4. 19. I'm just going to keep going and getting my tallies by clicking. You don't have to shade the numbers out. I'm just doing this to make sure that I took care of those numbers. Zeros in this first one. In a frequency table, if you notice, I have the tally marks in the one column, and then I have the frequency, the number of tally marks in the next one. So if I just go through 16, 6, 18, 8 is twice, 19, 17, 10. I'm just going to do this for all of our numbers and making sure that I'm going through and getting them all. Remember, I did not need to shade them out. That was just for my reference. And now here, I have to add up the tally marks. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to put the number 4 in the frequency. There are 6 there, so I'm going to put 6 there. There are 3, and then there are 8. Okay, so again, my intervals are on in the first column. The tally marks the number of times that number occurs in that interval. So I would just click again. If I made a mistake, I would just go down. If I accidentally click there, and then the frequency, the number of tally marks I have. So when we hit submit answer, are we sure? And we get the check mark there. Okay, so again, if you needed to double check how to do this, go back and rewatch this. All right, now continuing with our statistics here, we're going to create a histogram. So I have my data here. Histogram is, we're going to create this below. A histogram is, it looks like a bar graph, but all of the bars have to be touching. And they also have to be the same width. Okay, so I'm going to choose to make mine with a width of 2. You could choose to do yours a little bit bigger here. A survey was given to 144 students at a local high school, asking how many minutes it takes them to commute to school. The results are summarized in the table below. Construct and label a frequency histogram of the data with an appropriate scale. So again, my intervals, I made a frequency table before, so this looks very similar to that. 0 to 9, I have 30, 10 to 19, 54, 20 to 29, 39, and 30 to 39, 9. Click and drag to make a rectangle. Click a rectangle to delete it. So I'll show you what happens if you make a mistake here. Minutes to commute and frequency. So let's go through. The first one is 0 to 9, and there's 30 students there. Okay, so if you notice, I don't have the little bar here, so I can actually go right to the y-axis. So there were 30 students. So I'm going to go where 30 is, and I'm going to hold down and drag this all the way down. So I started at 30. It says label. So my label was 0 to, just double check, to 9. Okay, that was my interval, and I'm going to click done. If you notice, it labels it here. Okay, the next one is 10 to 19. There were 54. So I'm going to make a mistake on this one. So maybe I accidentally went up to 54, but I didn't connect it to my previous box here. So if I did this and I dragged this and I went all the way down, I said, oh no, I made a mistake here. If you notice, the red circle shows up. So if I made a mistake, I can X out of that and deletes the box. So I want to go to 54. I'm going to go right in the top left corner. I'm going to drag, and I'm going to come all the way down here. Again, it has to be the same width, so I wanted to go with 2 here. My label is now 10 to 19, and I'm going to click done. Now 20 to 29, there were 39 students. So again, I'm going to go in the top left corner. This is a lot easier to do on a computer than if you're doing this on the phone. Okay, so you're going to click and drag. It gives me that big circle when I'm holding down the left mouse button. So that was 20 to 29. I'm going to hit done. And then 30 to 39 is 9 students. I'm going to go find 9. I'm going to go here. I'm going to drag this down. And I'm going to get 30 to 39. And I'm going to press done. So I had 4 intervals. I have 4 bars. They're all touching. Remember, they don't have to start at this y-axis here. It only started at the y because I started with 0. If you'll see a little break in the graph if you started at anything besides 0, but this example just happens to start at 0. They're all the same width. My intervals here, if you notice, I put the intervals after I made the box, and I started in the top left of where I was going, and I dragged all the way down. Mine's 2. You could make it 3. Let's see what happens when we hit submit. I press yes, and we get the check mark. So here was the box that the answer is going to show. They actually used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 box width here because they wanted to spread it all out, which is perfectly fine. You have to have at least 2 boxes as your width. Okay, you can go more if you want to spread it out. Okay, if you notice, my numbers here, they kind of bunch together, but that's okay. Hopefully these videos helped you guys out, and feel free to rewatch them, pause them, stop in whichever situation you're having issues with, and thanks a lot, guys.